Am I centered?
Yeah.
Should I be there? Now it's your part.
Yeah.
You do it. You do it. You got this. You got this.
I'm so excited
I
to
don't
be...
find that to be believable. No, I'm kidding. It's how it always starts.
Yeah. I'm so excited to be introducing my first guest to my Decent Exposure series. You know him better as his alter ego, Miss Bianca Del Rio, but I'm so excited today to introduce to my channel the man behind the clown, Mr. Roy Haylock.
The man behind the clown.
The man behind the clown.
You know what? And it's funny because when people call me clown, they think that you're going to be offended. But it's like, no, that's what I am. I am a clown.
Your badge of honour.
I take no offense to it. No, it is what it is.
I mean, straight away for me,
Yes.
introducing you as Roy,
It's
it
odd.
feels alien for me.
Yeah.
How is it for you?
Well, it's weird because you don't really get to do much out of drag. And I think because of Drag Race in particular, it's like the only time anybody even knows who you are. Because for years I did drag that no one cared. Like they only saw you in the bar, they saw you do your performance and nobody asked, you know? So during the day you were kind of like ambiguous and you were hiding in the world. So now it's a completely different world.
Do you find people speak to you more as Roy or as Bianca? How do people approach you more?
They usually call me Bianca. I mean, it's happened at Starbucks on occasion. It happens on the street a lot. But yeah, I mean, I think that's just what they're familiar with. I think that's what they're most comfortable with. But either way, they're always scared. They're always kind of like that little ounce of, they're a little hesitant all the time, which is kind of comes with the territory.
Yeah. So you're over in London at the moment. You're doing the musical Everybody's Talking About Jamie.
That is correct. I started December 9th, and I'm here till February 29th. And what's been great about it is I also did it earlier this summer. So I did it for 8 weeks, starting I think in May and June. And it was lovely to get to do it then. And I had such a good time that I came back in December.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
And how's it all been going?
It's wild. First of all, I mean, as an American, it's like a big deal to get to do something on the West End, you know. And the fact that they called and said, hey, would you be interested in doing it? And I got to do it 8 times a week is challenging.
Of course.
But it's lovely because I'm in one dressing room every day and I'm dealing with a very talented cast. You know, I mean, they really do all the work. And the part that I'm doing is, you know, in and out of the show. So I'm not literally doing every scene. So it's a comfortable place to get to do. The audiences have been great and, you know, you can't beat it. You know, it's good.
How did Jamie come about for you?
Well, I was here last December, not 2019, but 2018. I had come in December to see Michelle Visage, who was playing Miss Hedge at the time.
Yeah.
And I happened to be here in London doing, I think it was Porn Idol. And on the night, it was a Thursday night, and I got in and I went to see the show. And I saw Michelle in the show, who was great. And then after the show, I said hello really quickly, and then I ran to get in drag. And literally, I think it was February, I was in Asia doing my tour, It's Just a Joke. I started in Australia and Asia. And I got a call. They said, would you be interested in doing this? And immediately I thought, the Michelle role. I'm like, as the teacher? And I'm like, what role? And they said, as the elderly drag queen.
Oh, God.
And I thought, and I thought, wait a minute. I said, I don't even really, now, no offense to anyone, but I'm like, I don't remember the role. I don't remember how many songs. I don't remember the scene. I said, can you send me some footage so that I can get an idea of what it is? And of course, once they sent it, I was like, what key is that? What, you know, what's involved? And they said, why don't you look at it? Let us know what you think. And I then evaluated it, looked at it, and they said, would you do it? And I was like, yeah. They basically weren't taking no. And I said, well, how many times do you get an offer to do something in the West End? And I'm like, fuck it, I gotta go do it. So that's kind of how it came about.
Obviously, you're an American.
Yes. Yes.
But your character in the show is usually a northerner.
Correct. Everyone in the show is usually a northerner. And that was one of my big issues, was obviously, it's one thing as an American, our version of a British accent, everybody sounds like Mary Poppins or Dick Van Dyke.
I've seen Kinky Boots.
Yeah, you've seen Kinky Boots. So it's that kind of a thing where I thought, yikes. But then when you get into the show, you realize how specific that accent is. And I had the option, because that was a big problem. So we started with a dialect coach. I had 2 weeks, I think, of rehearsal. So we started with a dialect coach who was wonderful. And then they started breaking down every scene. And as you know in the show, since you've seen it, there's one scene that I'm not in drag, and then there's the drag scene, and then there's like a real serious scene. So we started with the first few, and I was okay. I was getting it. But of course you had these moments of like stopping every 5 seconds to make sure you're pronouncing something right. And when we finally got to the third scene, which was the serious scene, there's no jokes, there's no bells, there's no whistles. I felt like I'm trapped in a corner. I thought, if I can't make this convincing, then no one's going to believe anything. So they said, They said, well, we have the option to make you American. And what we'll do is we'll just add in 3 lines in the beginning of the show, and then we don't mention it. And they said, luckily for my role, that if anybody would have left town and come back, it would have been me.
Yeah, of course.
So we do. We address it in my first scene, 2 lines, 3 lines maybe, and then it's done.
You've already mentioned now you're in Jamie. You're doing 8 shows a week, 2 matinees a week.
Groundhog's Day, yeah.
How are you finding that compared to, obviously, used to being on your own, number one, on your tours, world tour, different venues all the time? How is that comparing for you?
I have to say, it's comforting because, when, for instance, when you're traveling with a show, I don't think people realize that sometimes, well, me in particular, I schedule them close together because I think continuous is what works best for me. So one night you might be in Belfast, the next day you're in Dublin, the next day you're here. So the load in is like at noon. You get in, you set up all of your stuff, and then we kind of mill around. We go through sound check, we do. Then I have to get dressed and then get in drag. And then we have like a meet and greet at like 5:30. So I meet and greet 150 to 200 people every night. And then I have about 45 minutes to an hour while the people are seated to then get ready for the show. And then I do the show. And then literally I'm on the bus and out the next day. So that's my usual fanfare. Yeah. So this is really, without being nasty, a fucking treat.
Yeah.
I'm not the star. I'm not the lead. I'm not doing meet and greets. I do stage door. So after the show, that's a little different. But as far as the prep, it's completely different. It's so nice. It's not my material. So I don't feel the weight of, is it funny? Is it not funny?
Yeah.
Some nights people laugh. Some people laugh at different things. But with this show in particular, what's interesting is that like on a Wednesday matinee, you might have people that are quiet. But at the end of the night, at the end of the day, they're on their feet going, ah.
And how are you finding working with a company? Because obviously you've done tours even with the Drag Race girls and what have you. But you're always solo artists.
Yeah.
And you're always in competition with each other.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden now you find yourself in your company where everyone's on an equal footing and everyone's trying to raise the whole show up. How does that feel for you?
Well, it's great because there's a story. I mean, there's this whole thing. And as I said before, it's not about me, which is rare for me. I mean, I don't mean that in general. As a gay man, I always make it about me. But, everybody's focusing on Jamie. And to be a side player amongst all of these brilliant... I mean, and you've seen this cast. It's like...
incredible.
I mean, insane. So to be amongst the group and they were so welcoming and allowing me to come in and do it, including the directing team and the costumes and everybody. It's just kind of nice that you're there and you go, it's like playing tennis, you go back and forth. Because I mean, like I said, I've done shows with the Drag Race girls, but even then it's like, I have 15 minutes, they have 15 minutes. You're not really working with someone.
No.
So it really is a treat on many levels because, like I said, all the responsibility is not on me, and they are so giving and so talented that it's like, oh, I can sit back and enjoy it. Yeah. I mean, the hardest part, I think, for the show, not really the hardest part, but I think the most exciting and challenging part is after my first scene, I have like 19 minutes to get into drag. But it's kind of exciting because you literally leave the stage, you run upstairs, and you just get it on. It's like a Drag Race mini challenge.
Right.
You do
19 minutes.
19 minutes. 19 minutes from my exit to I go back on stage. So if you know the show, I leave after my scene, I come up, I do my face and my hair, and when work of art starts, I run down the stairs, and then I get into my undergarments, and then I get into my dress, and by the end of work of art, I'm dressed on stage right, waiting to enter.
Now, you've just mentioned this is your first time being in the West End.
Correct.
But you're no stranger to theatre.
No.
On the stage and off the stage.
Yeah.
You've worked extensively on Broadway in costume departments on some of the biggest shows.
Yeah.
How did all that start for you?
Well, it started in New Orleans because that's where I'm originally from, in Louisiana. And I did a lot of theater there and also worked with the opera there and ballet, which was really kind of great training for drag because when you do opera, you're dealing with these opera divas that are larger than life and they need hair to match and they need makeup to match. Ballerinas who obviously love eyeliner and throw up a lot. So all of that kind of worked out to be a drag queen. So that was kind of the training into it. And then when I went to New York, it was just one of those things where I had to make a living. So during the day, I worked at a Broadway costume shop, which was exciting. That's always been like my passion, I think. So working at a Broadway costume shop, we would do Wicked, we would do Mamma Mia, we would do The Rockettes, we would do Drowsy Chaperone with Sutton Foster, we did Color Purple. So that was like your day. So that was from 8:30 till 5, I think, in the evenings. And then I would do drag at night in local clubs trying to make a living. So that was just kind of the way to pay your rent in New York, because as many people don't realize, New York is not glamorous when you're living there.
Yeah.
So you're hustling to make money. So I was doing that during the day and then working at night. And it just kind of evolved. It's always kind of stuck with me.
So back in New Orleans then, I'm guessing that's what you trained in, was sort of costume.
Yeah, trained by experience, because it wasn't necessarily like there was a place to go. I had gone to FIT for a hot minute in New York because everyone said, you need to go to New York. But that was fashion oriented, and I'm not a fashion person. I'm more about construction, and I like building stuff of that nature. Granted, if you saw Drag Race, I wore the same dress in every color, but it worked. But overall, I just enjoy the costume aspect of it, the more of the fanfare. So if I continue to do that for the rest of my life, I'd be happy.
So looking back at those days when you were training in costume and making costumes backstage, was it ever your goal or dream to end up on the stage?
No, God no. I mean, none of it. It's an interesting thing. I mean, I know this is going to sound very fancy and spiritual, but it's kind of like I say yes to everything. I mean, I'm doing this interview. You say yes to things, and it just kind of opens up. And I think that one of the biggest things, obviously, that shifted my life was Drag Race at 37, which was this thing where, like, what do I have to lose? Take a chance. And then it just kind of opened up everything. And then it was like, do you want to do a show? Do you want to do this? And I still don't know what I want, but I know what I don't want. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, I'd be happy to try something and then go, not my thing. And then you move on to something else. So it's just been this process of like, why not? Like the West End, why not? Drag Race, why not? I think it's important to just try it and see if you like it.
It's really interesting hearing you say that, because from an outsider perspective looking in, I feel like you've made it, you're there, you're doing it. Would you say for you, life and career is still evolving?
Always. Well, I think the minute you think you've made it, I think you're fucked. I think you've lost all sense of reality. And I think if you feel you've made it, then it's done. I mean, for me, I'm never happy. I mean, in general, it's like I don't walk off stage and go, oh, that was amazing. No, every night there's like, oh, not my favorite, not my thing. I should have done this or I should have done that. I think there's an evolution to that, but also that's what drives me, And the minute that I don't have that drive, or the minute that I get too comfortable, is the minute that I will say, fuck it, I got to get out of this. Because each night, it was funny because when I was 17, I met Cheetah Rivera in New York. She was doing Kiss the Spider-Woman at the time. And I'd seen the show maybe at least 10, 11 times at that point. I mean, tickets were cheap back in 1993. And she was amazing. And one of the things, each time I saw her, she was just as fabulous as she was. And she's playing the lead. She's in every fucking scene, and she's Cheetah fucking Rivera. And I was like, how do you do it? How do you do it every night? Like, how do you make it that special? Because when you see her in that show, it was as though she was doing the show just for my little gay ass sitting in the audience. And she said every night you have to prove that you deserve to be there. She goes, because some nights someone's going to go, she didn't do it. It's that you need to deliver. And no matter what's going on in your world, you need to feel that this is it. And it's something that's always stuck with me, that I thought, yeah, that's it. Even if you're having a shit day, even if you're tired, when you go out there, people are wanting to see you. So deliver. Drop all that other bullshit, because we all have lives, and just deliver. Do what you do.
Now, Loco Chanel came and knocked on your door, as you've just said. Do you have any other dreams or aspirations going forward in theatre? Any roles or anything you'd like to play?
Oh, God, I'll do anything. Actually, I was sitting backstage with Jillian, who I love so much. Jillian, who's in the show, who is a understudy, actually. She's brilliant. She understudies Mom. She understudies Ray. She understudies Miss Hedge. So she was on, I think, as Ray. And so we had this minute backstage, and Noah, who's playing Jamie, came up to me and was like, would you be interested in doing any more theater? And I'm like, of course, I would do anything. Are there any roles? And my brain went blank, and I'm like, I don't know. Like, if someone called and said, yeah, I would do it. And then Jillian said, you need to do Lacage. And I'm like, well, that would be fun to do. But, you never know. I mean, for me, it's like, truly, this has been a lovely experience, and it's opened up doors for me just in general here in the West End. Because, I mean, as an American, it makes you go, wow, they like me over there. I feel like David Hasselhoff. It's like, he's shit in America, but he's loved over here. So, no, I leave the door open. I'd do any of it. If they call me and said, hey, do you want to be a monkey? Let's try it. I mean, I'm up for it. But I think there's specific types of roles. I mean, like, obviously, Lacage is fitting because I'm a drag queen, Cabaret because I'm an evil clown, Miss Morrible because she doesn't sing.
Yeah.
So all of those are definitely something I would say yes to. Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah, you never know.
Now we've got to the part of the interview where I have a set series of questions which I plan on asking everyone that I interview, which I'm hoping will give me decent exposure.
Ah, look what you did there.
See what
This
I
is
did
good.
there.
This is good.
So my first question for you is, what is the one item you couldn't live without?
Oh, one item. Well, my mirror, because my mirror, I'll show you, it's the best mirror. It lights up as you go in front of it. I've learned as a drag queen, it's the only thing that I really need. I can do makeup with anything, I can make something happen, but that mirror is it, because sometimes you're in a glamorous dressing room like this, or sometimes you're in like a bathroom with no light, or you're in a hotel that has backlighting. I need my mirror.
My next question is, which talent or skill would you most like to wake up with tomorrow?
Oh, a surgeon. I think that would just be, first of all, as a gay man, that would save a lot of time. I could pull my own face. But I'm fascinated by that. Like all of those shows that deal with surgery or repairing or botched, I'm fascinated with that I would love to do that. And also, as somebody who sews, I think I'd be good with my hands.
Yeah. What is your most overused word or phrase?
Fuck. Because I say fuck when it's good, I say fuck when it's bad. And I just say fuck, And it's weird because people often say, you curse so much. Or people that don't know me, especially some of this cast that's very young, they're like, wow. And I'm like, but my mother's from Cuba and my dad's from Honduras. So when I grew up, my mother said fuck. But to her, fuck meant table. It had no significance because she was from another country. So fuck this, fuck that. And that's where it comes from.
Question 4. A job you would like to do besides your own?
Pharmacist. I'm just fascinated. Like when I've gone to the drugstore, well, what do you call it here?
Pharmacy.
Pharmacy, okay. When you go to the pharmacy, I'm fascinated by just a drugstore. It sounds so American, doesn't
it does.
It's just that you basically go to school to be a doctor to understand all this, and you just count pills all day. What a fucking treat. Yeah, I would love it.
Question 5. What quality do you like most about yourself?
Ooh, that's tricky. Honesty, not so much with other people, but honesty with myself. I think if you know your own flaws, it makes it easier to deal with other people, and you're just putting it out there. This is me, this is what I do, this is what I am, even though I'm wearing a wig. This is just what I do. But I also think finding that in other people and complimenting other people when they go, well, that's what you do, and you're pretty, and you're a singer, and you're this, and that, and I'm none of those. So, yeah, I think honesty is important, yeah.
The quality you dislike about yourself?
Oh God. The quality I dislike about myself. I wish I wouldn't procrastinate as much as I do. Yeah, procrastination. Yeah, and you see I was even hesitant with saying that.
Yeah.
Procrastinating. Yeah, I don't think I get as much done as I think I should.
The quality you like most in another person?
Honesty, I would say. Honesty is another thing. Yeah, honesty. Just because you can't fault somebody if that's what they feel or that's what they say. Yeah. And I think a lot of people have a hard time with that. A lot of people are afraid of what someone else's reaction is going to be. And I always say, I'm a big boy. I can take it. Like, just say it what it is. It's like rejection. It's like dealing with, working in theater and auditioning for something. It's if someone says, you're not our type. It doesn't mean you're not talented. It doesn't mean you're not likable. That's just someone's choice for this production. And I think once you get that out of your head, you go, I'm good.
The quality that you dislike about another person?
Oh, God. The fact that they breathe. Excessive hate. It's just not necessary. And I think that I've met people, I've worked with people that go out of their way to be a bitch or be demanding and be impossible. Like, I play a bitch on stage, but in real life, it doesn't work. But I think all of that requires so much effort and so much energy. I think that if you're with a group of people or you're surrounded by others, just scratch your ass and get glad and just do what you need to do.
Yeah.
I'm very turned off by people that require high maintenance, and it's like, girl, it's not that. We're not curing cancer here. We're wearing wigs and doing a gig. So, yeah, I think grandness or being a diva or being impossible, something I can't deal with it. And also, I'm a huge believer that your bullshit shouldn't outweigh your talent.
Yes.
I would rather go, wow, she's a talented person and very nice, than to go, oh, she's great on stage, but what a cunt.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, it's the worst.
What is your greatest accomplishment so far?
That I'm still breathing. that I've lasted this long. And I don't mean like work-wise. I just mean as a person. I never thought I'd be, because this year I turned 45. I never thought I'd be 45. I never thought I'd be 45 in the West End. I never thought I'd be 45 in a wig. I mean, everything, as I was saying before, I just kind of thought, do this, roll with it, and you never know what's to come. And I think that's just been the thing. It's it's hard, it's struggling sometimes to keep an open mind and open heart, but it's, wow, like, how do you get from point A to point B? I don't know. Yeah. And there was no real path. So I'm just glad that I'm still functioning and enjoying it, or aware of it, And even when stuff gets you down, or when things, because that's life, and things get in the way, or real life starts to fuck with you, is that you go, but yeah, you have this other side of it. You shouldn't really be that upset.
What has been your biggest fear so far?
It used to be death, but now it's like, I think fearless is kind of it. There's something that really scares me. I mean, obviously losing family members or friends and stuff is kind of there, but I also know it's possible. But I think it's just trying to be as fearless as possible. You know, just roll with the punches. What are you going to do?
Would you rather continue with your life or restart it knowing what you know now?
Oh, God. I would continue with my life. Yeah, I think if I knew this when I was 20, it would definitely change the path. I think that's the great thing about life. Rather than be upset about what's happened to me in the past, obviously all of it has made a huge difference, and I wouldn't want to go back. I look at 20-year-olds now and I go, oh. No, but I don't mean it in a bad way. I mean, like, wow, it's such a different thing. I don't know if I'd want to be 20 in this world right now. I mean, I'm happy with what has happened, and it's taken a while for me to say that. You know, because especially as a gay man, you go through moments when you're like, oh, I'm old now. Everybody's so young. But I go, I'm good with it. Yeah, I'm not mad at it.
And my final question, what are you most grateful for in life?
To live, but I would say work. I mean, I'm grateful to get to work. And I don't mean it just exclusively to drag or to performing. It's I get to work on myself. I get to be aware of what's going on. I'm grateful for the life that I have, you know, the fact that I get to do all these amazing things that sometimes gets lost in the game of it or in my own mind or my own bullshit. I'm grateful that I don't sit in a cubicle. Nothing wrong with sitting in a cubicle, but it's not for me. So I'm grateful that, you know, all of these little things have led up to this, and it hits you every now and then. I mean, well, mostly every day when you're in a dressing room and you're looking in the mirror and you're going, I get paid for this. And comfortably, and get to take care of people that are friends of mine and get to take care of family members. So it's, I'm just kind of grateful for the whole experience.
So that brings me to the end of my questions. Thank you so much for doing this for me today.
Well, thank you for taking over my lovely dressing room.
All my equipment.
It's not bad. It's 2 cameras and a dream. Yeah, so I go back home, I go back to LA and become a normal person again. Yeah.
Great.
I have to get my tonsils out at 44 years old.
Oh, God.
I know, what am I thinking?
So, coming up soon on my channel, I am going to be interviewing the one, the only, the legend, the icon, the cunt, Miss Bianca Del Rio. I'm so excited for her to come onto my channel, so make sure you've clicked on for notifications so you don't miss anything. But for now, Mr. Roy Haylock, thank you so much.
Thank you, my love. I appreciate it.
Mwah.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.